Hello, my name is Rose and welcome to another Rose Red Tarot video. For the past few days, I've been really called to do a geographical location tarot guidance reading. I knew it had to be inclusive of the whole world. So I was thinking of ways that I could do this on camera, looking for a large map of the whole world where I could be guided as I am with the pages in the books. And then this morning it dawned on me that I can use geographical coordinates. Why not use die, rolling the dice to get the coordinates? In this video, the dice are going to give us the coordinates of 4 geographic locations, and then I'm going to do readings for those locations. It's for general knowledge, for the collective, something that needs to be known about those places at this time, but also, of course, if those places are in your family tree or you live there now, it's relevant for you. I wouldn't say I'm nervous, it's very specific and that I'm being drawn to do this or guided to do this reading versus the archaeological reading and the anatomy reading and those types of things were just out of pure interest on my part. I mean, as far as I can consciously tell. So, and I'm trying to learn to not say If you see chops, it's from me editing those out, so I have to speak more slowly. Anyway, here we go. I'm gonna cut twine to represent the directions. And I'm gonna roll both die, both dice, and the numbers will show whatever it's closest to: north, south, east, west. Never eat shredded wheat. We're gonna just try this on camera. Let's give it a shot. The first coordinate that's definitely north. 41 north, 'Where I'm sitting is going to affect this though. I'm being pulled over here. I guess I'll have to do it like that, just where I'm pulled for each one. And 33 east. The second location. Close to the edge of the table here. '51 south. I'm being drawn east again. East again. '66 east. The third location. It's still on the north side. 66 north. A lot of being drawn more west here. 65 west. And the fourth and final location. 51 north. Being drawn west here. 23 west. All right, I'm so curious to see where those are. The first coordinates 41 north and 33 east is in Turkey. Which interestingly is north of the city where they discovered the goddess figurine in the archaeology tarot video. Yeah, so that was a little bit eerie. The next coordinate, 51 south by 66 east, is a research station in Antarctica. On a desolate island. As soon as I determined that, I felt strongly that it was referencing global warming. So I'll keep that in mind with that reading. The third coordinate, 66 north by 65 west, is nearest to Nunavut, which is across from Greenland. I was thinking something with Greenland was going to come up. And the last one is in the middle of the North Atlantic Ocean between Greenland and approximately Portugal. "51 north by 23 west." So I have to do some research about traveling paths there. Stay tuned if you want to see what the tarot has to say about any of these locations. I've done some research not only about where the points were on the planet, but what that location's known for. And I thought I should research the US and Turkey's relationship. And I'm gonna end up posting, I typically don't post my videos right away, they are scheduled, but this is so timely. You'll see on the slide that I made, but days leading up to today and then an hour, as I was doing research, it was a news information from an hour prior. So around the time that I was pulling the coordinates, Turkey was trying to get Trump to have a meeting with the leader of Iran, Turkey, and US to try to peacekeep. I'm really not reading the news. I wasn't aware of Turkey's relationship with the States at all. I just feel following my intuition to do this type of thing, even though I've never done this before. I've never done tarot for geography before. I've done it for like locations on where I should move personally, but not world issues. So it's very exciting. But here we go. The first location I will be pulling for is a small town in Turkey. Erkeç, Turkey. I have the peacemaking card pop out right away. Any other guidance for why I was guided to this location in Turkey today? Any other guidance? I just saw 9 of Cups. King of Cups is already down with Justice. cut. So Justice, King of Cups, Ace of Wands, not a good sign here, but it might be okay with the Justice card. King of Cups, as soon as I saw that, I thought of Mr. Trump himself. You know, most cards, I suppose, have good and bad qualities. I just saw two crows fly past. But King of Cups can be temperamental, can be emotionally volatile, can be inebriated, can be a heavy drinker. Basically is guided by emotion rather than logic. And Ace of Wands is forcing your will, pushing something through, using your willpower. Can I have a likely outcome for this meeting in Turkey with this King of Cups, or with a representative of the King of Cups? Likely outcome of this meeting. Some structure, behaving. Great. Whew, feel better now. To have Justice and Hierophant, even though this little ace is here, it's going to be fine. Forcing to behave, forcing best behavior. Okay, so they're going to come in with guns blazing, pardon the term, trying to force their will and assuming they're going to get their way. But something about the setting of Turkey, I feel that the president of Turkey is a good mediator. The card for Turkey itself definitely was this Justice card at this time. Today's January 29th, 2026. It's confirmed. That thought is confirmed by the Hierophant. The meeting's going to go well. It's going to add structure to this rivalry. I think for the time being, things between Iran and the US are going to be kept civil. Not necessarily agreeable, but people will be on their best behavior. Yeah, that's the last of the information I have. So that's for Turkey. The next location I was provided with this morning is the Alfred-Faure research base, which is owned by French and Antarctic lands. And it primarily studies the effects of climate change, which I found fascinating. We are really being granted top time-sensitive information with this one here. Cards for this research station. You know, why were we guided to this research station? Is there anything we need to know about what they are discovering, or something else? we have withholding bad news, bad information. Why? Why must they withhold? Or who's making them withhold? By who? By what? Oh. We have two of the same cards as for Turkey. I do think this is all tied together. They fell out completely separately, like not from the back. I'm not comforted at all by this devil regarding scientific discoveries about the climate. You know, starting this channel, doing these readings publicly for the world, for whoever can access YouTube, is rapidly opening a much larger pool of information through the tarot for me. And I wouldn't quite call it overwhelming yet, but it's bringing me on a journey, which wherever I'm guided, I will take this channel. But it's bringing me on a journey where I have to learn more. And I wanted to learn more about these other topics. That's why I did other readings. This one is forcing me to learn more about politics and about resources of different countries and what they have to do with power and the climate, power and the environment. And these aren't things that I'm interested in politics, of course, but in terms of like trying to keep my head above water and stay optimistic and learn about the evildoers of the world on a regular basis, I have been avoiding it, but this is taking me down a path where once I get this information, I'm not just going to be like, I don't care what that meant. I'm going to have to take it further and pursue it. It's not a tangent for me because this has popped up like it's severe and it's being withheld. And then somehow the tarot has tied in that I asked directly, why is it being withheld or by whom? And we have the two cards that came up for the meeting in Turkey between the US and Iran, which is happening. It's either happening today or they agreed to do it today, and it'll happen shortly. So that's what I mean by I'm being guided to learn more about things that make me uncomfortable so that I can properly channel the information. The third of 4 locations provided was Pang near Tung, Nunavut, which is an Inuit hamlet. Nunavut has come in the news. It was like a week ago or less where they publicly supported Greenland and the governments are going to be in solidarity against the US. So as you can see, there is a thread among these locations that's disconcerting. Any guidance for the Nunavut location? Nunavut. I'm being guided to say that the more that you accept things are real, rather than fighting if they are or not, or that they're not, the greater access to the limitlessness of the universe you have in your brief time in this form. To reject it is only depriving yourself. I say this without judgment. Cards for Nunavut. Let me take that one. Can I have a few more, please? One more for we have death, Three of Swords, clarifying death, King of Wands, and Six of Wands for Nunavut. I'm suddenly very cold. Of course, you know, we have the end of suffering, the end of being bullied, suffering from aggressors. I'm getting the word aggressor. Willingness to, it's not fight for because it's a march or a parade, right? But a willingness to do that this time. Again, I do not know the history of Nunavut, but they're not going to stand aside for an aggressor this time. They're going to continue to speak up. I'm assuming, as they have done on behalf of Greenland. But the Death card is something changing and being unrecognizable to what it was before it changed. And there's no going back from the change. So it's serious business. They mean it, and I don't see it as aggressive. I see it as to pacify a situation, but not from a passive, not a passive approach. They will be vocal and they will be They are, I'm getting the word, they are coming together as one, the people of Nunavut, to stand for this thing. Like it's personal. It's going to be interesting to see how Greenland and Nunavut combine efforts to protect themselves and each other. Now, the final location was in the middle of the North Atlantic Ocean, not far from Nunavut. Like, Nunavut was here, Greenland's here, Ireland and Spain and Portugal are here, and it was in the middle of the ocean over here. I'm still gonna pull cards. I don't know if that's becoming a passage for something, or if there's some, again, like I'm gonna have to do more research about Spain, if they have any role in this, or how that body of water is going to play a role in this. Not the whole body of water, but that passage between those countries. Any information about this position in the North Atlantic Ocean that you guided me to? You know, oh. I know this is out there, but it just feels natural. Like, I'm just doing what I'm told, and I don't care how it looks or how it sounds anymore. I'm just playing my part. Any other cards for this passage in the North Atlantic Ocean? One thing I'm not going to do is bring anyone into my world, or let anyone into my world that doesn't get it. You again. What's happening here? They're all being tied together with one or two of the same cards. We have the King of Cups from the Turkey reading, which I felt was US or Trump himself. We have Chariot reversed. Sorry, this was reversed. King of Cups, 9 of Wands. Definitely reverse Chariot is not able to pass. Passage denied. Not able to do it on their own. I see this 9 of Wands as a country being bullied to try to assist this transfer of power or this overtaking. Any tip, any clues on who this 9 of Wands is that US has their eye on to gain passage? Watch this video get blocked. The world we live in, man. Actually, it's probably seems so boring to certain screeners that they won't make it far enough. What country's symbol is a salamander? France, Slovenia, or Japan? Okay, so we have this desolate research island owned by France that is withholding this terrible information about climate change because of, and then we got repeat cards for that reading that were there for Turkey in the Turkey meeting, forcing them to behave. And now when I asked who this country is that is being bullied to help this passageway or this domination, I get this little, I immediately thought little country when I flip this, and he has salamanders. Now France isn't little, so could it be that research station itself? A French colony. A French colony. I'm going to have to see if there's some island in the ocean there, or who owns that part of the ocean that could have some relationship with France or a French-speaking former colony of France. Anyway, that's how the North Atlantic Ocean point plays into this storyline today. If you like mysteries, I think you'll probably like this series. If you enjoyed part of this reading, there are other readings, nothing quite similar to this, but I do use tarot to dive into different areas of life that are unusual, such as history and fashion. There's a lot to think about here. I feel slightly perturbed, but it will be okay as long as I keep asking questions. All right, have a great day. See you next time.